Hi everyone, welcome back to art. Lately, we've been working on projects that work with space or showing space in artwork. We're going to be doing the same thing again today, and we're going to try to make it look like there is a road that is moving away from us in our artwork. So I'm going to be doing it on my whiteboard today. You can also do your artwork on a whiteboard because today it's kind of like a practice drawing day. So it can be a sketch that you do on just a sketch paper or notebook paper, or if you just want to do it on a whiteboard, that's fine. This isn't a drawing we need to keep to work on next time. It's just practicing. And then next time we will be doing a more finished artwork that has a road and shows color and all of that. So first, I want to think about space in our artwork. And I don't mean outer space. I mean space in the sense that things take up space, right? If I have a 3D object like my box of crayons, this takes up space. It's not flat, right? I can measure how wide it is this way. I can measure how tall it is this way. And I can measure the depth of it going this way. I can measure it in 3 different ways or 3 different dimensions, and that's what makes it 3D. Something that's flat, like, what do I have here? Like this picture that I was making with kindergarten. This is a flat picture. I can measure how much space it takes up this way and this way, 2 different directions, which makes it 2D. I can't measure it this way because it is flat. There's no dimension here to measure. So we are going to be creating a drawing that is technically flat, right? I'm going to be doing it on my whiteboard. I can measure my drawing this way and this way, but I can't measure how like its depth this way. It's only 2D. So when we are showing space in our artwork, we're actually showing an illusion of space, which means it looks like our artwork takes up space, but really it doesn't. It's still a flat artwork. So here, I wasn't quite finished with it yet, but here is kind of a sneak peek of what our artwork could look like. So it looks like this road is getting farther away from me. But really, it's all drawn on this flat board. So it's not actually taking up space going this way, it just looks like it is. So it's kind of like an illusion. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to draw the picture that I just showed right now. I do want to see on your practice drawing this week a road that looks like it's going farther away. I should see a horizon line and then some kind of details next to the road. It's okay if your details are different than mine. Our drawings can be different. I do, however, still want to see that road that looks like it's moving farther away. So I'm going to be drawing on this whiteboard right here, and I'm going to start with a horizon line. So we've done some horizon line practice before, so hopefully you remember what a horizon line is. If not, I'll remind you, a horizon line is the line that separates the ground and the sky. So see my horizon line right here? I just did a straight line. Above the line is the sky. Below the line is the ground. It's the farthest thing that my eye can see. So I'm going to be doing a giant one right here. I'm going to start by drawing my horizon line. I drew it about in the middle of my paper, but you could have it slightly lower or slightly above the middle. That's fine too. Now I'm going to add my road. I want to make it look like my road is getting farther away from me. And we've been talking a little bit about how when things are farther away, they look like they are smaller. So if I just drew my road like this, where it's the same width or same size down here and up here, that doesn't look like it's getting farther away from me because it's the same size. It looks like it's just going straight up and down. So what I need to do, I'm going to erase these lines, nice part about using a whiteboard. I want my road to get smaller and smaller and smaller as it moves away from me. My horizon line, remember, is the farthest thing I can see, so that is really far away from me. So I'm going to have my road, the 2 sides of my road, come together at my horizon line. So I'm going to basically be drawing a triangle. So I'm going to start at my horizon line right here, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line, oops, let's draw my marker, that comes down to the bottom of my paper, and then I'm going to start in the same spot right here and diagonal line that comes down to the bottom of my paper. Now right now it doesn't really look like a road yet because I don't have many details. It kind of just looks like a triangle. But the more details I add, hopefully the more this will look like a road. It kind of looks like my road disappears right here. This is something we're going to talk more about next year, but this little point at the top of my triangle is actually called the vanishing point. It's the part that's so far away from me, it kind of looks like the road vanishes or disappears. So now what I'm going to do, this is what all of our practices hopefully will start like this week, a triangle, that's going to be a road, and a horizon line. Now, the other details you add can be different than mine, but they should get smaller as they get closer to that horizon line because it means they're moving farther away from you. So I think what I'm going to start with is I'm going to put like those lines down the middle of the road. So kind of like the streets that we drive on, you might have noticed there's like yellow or sometimes white dashed lines. I'm going to add those kind of like I did in my other practice. Now I know on a real road those lines are always the same size, but if they're moving farther away from me, they're going to look like they get smaller. So I'm going to start at the bottom here, which is closest to me, and I'm going to draw a pretty big size rectangle like that. Then, as I draw my next one, I'm going to have it get a little bit smaller every time it moves up the paper. They should also get a little bit closer together until eventually they're just dots. So now it's, to me anyways, really starting to look like it's a road moving farther away from me. Those lines really helped. You don't have to put those lines, but I chose to. Now I've got all this empty space on the ground, all this empty space in the sky that I'm going to work on now. So in this one, I put trees going along my road. This tree is near the bottom of my paper or my whiteboard, so it is closest to me, so I drew it the biggest. Then I had the next trees get smaller and smaller as they move closer to my horizon line because that is farther away from me. Maybe I'll do something different than trees this time. So what else could I have next to my road? It can be anything. Maybe I decide to put, I don't know, a giraffe next to my road. That's the first thing I thought of. So let's see. If I had a giraffe, kind of looks like a long-necked dinosaur. I don't know, maybe the gates in the zoo broke. And this is a story about how the giraffes escaped. So I've got a giraffe right here next to my road. It's pretty close to the bottom of the paper, which means it's closer to me, the viewer. I want to have several giraffes that kind of started walking down the side of the road here, but as they move up my paper, they're getting farther away from me, which means they should be getting smaller. So let me add a few more giraffes getting smaller, and then I'll add maybe one more thing. All right, I've got my line of giraffes along my road. You can see they get smaller as they go. Now, if I were to be in this picture actually walking down my road, the giraffes are probably all the same size. They just look smaller because they're moving farther away from me. I think I might also add some detail to the sky. Maybe it's daytime, so I add a sun. And it's a partly cloudy day, so I'll add some clouds. And then I could add something on the other side of the road. I'm not going to right now, just so you have more time to go work on your artwork. So as a reminder, this week I want you to do a practice drawing, which means it can be on a whiteboard, it can be in notebook paper. If you have special sketch paper that you use, that's fine. You don't have to color it in. If you really want to, great. But that's not something I'm going to be grading this week. It's just a practice. What I want to see is a road that looks like it's moving away from you. So it should be making that triangle shape. I'm also going to be looking for a horizon line. We learned about horizon lines before. So remember, it goes all the way across your paper. It's the farthest thing that you can see, so anything close to the horizon line should be itty bitty, really small. And you shouldn't have something where the horizon line goes through it, right? So if I do a tree right here, I wouldn't want that line going through my tree. If there's anything at that spot, you'd have to erase the horizon line so that it doesn't look like it goes through something. I don't actually want that tree there though. And then I want you to add some kind of details along your road that get smaller. If you want to add lines on your road too, that's fine. But that's what I'm looking for this week. And then next week we're going to be doing something similar, but we're going to make it look like a more finished drawing. So if you really love the way your sketch turned out this week, you can kind of work on something similar next week, or maybe throughout the week you think of other ideas that you want to do next week. That's fine too. I can't wait to see your roads that get smaller as they move away from you. Bye, everyone.